Welcome to another episode of Reality Is, where words do come to life. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you too can know when I upload other videos. Okay, I've been hearing a lot of talk about our government trying to force the kids to go back to school. And I understand you wanting to get the kids back into school, but you're not thinking about the teacher's safety as well. And you're not thinking about the domino effect it's going to have if kids go back to school, depending on how old they are, because young kids don't care about social distancing. They don't. They just want to be in the surrounding of other kids. And they pick up everything, they lay everything down, they drop things, they eat off the floor. They do all of that. And then you don't know what's going on inside their house. Whether they've been social distancing, whether they've been staying away from other individuals, whether they wear masks when they're out. None of that. You all don't know this. You don't know this. And so say you get a family who has 3 kids and they run from, let's say, 6 all the way up to 10. And you send those individuals back to school. Now, when the parents go out, they don't feel like they should have to wear a mask. And they've been having company over and entertaining people. And you don't know where their people who's coming to that house is, where they're coming from, or who they're associating themselves with, whether they wear a mask or not. And so then you open up the schools and you send those kids back to school. Now, you have your class set up where there's social distancing and you have the teacher. But the kid has been trained that they get inside or whatever, they don't wear a mask. So they take their mask out and they sneeze and they cough. And then some parents would send their kids to school whether they run the fever or not. And then the teacher end up sick, the rest of the kids in the class end up sick, and then say somebody so happened to end up on a ventilator. How are you going to handle that? What can you say when it could have been avoided? And if this is the steps that we have to take to get where we need to be, then this is the steps that we need to take to get us where we need to be. You all are not God. And when you understand that aspect of it, you'll be so much better. COVID is a God thing. It is totally a God thing. And I hope that you understand it's a God thing. Man cannot shut down the whole United States and then reach over into international waters and shut it down too. They can't do that in one swoop and then keep letting it reinvent itself in another strand. Who does that? How can you explain it? You can't explain it. But you know, the problem with us is we see a problem and we think the solution, even with companies, we think the solution is forcing people back into an environment. And it's not the solution to force people back into the environment. It's not. And you all are not going to provide no money. You're not going to provide no support system if things go the wrong way. You're not. And if somebody should happen to check out because you elected officials decide to make a decision or push something, how do you tell that husband? How do you tell that wife? How do you tell those kids that the president, the vice president, the congressman, the senator, the mayor, the governor made a decision that affected your parent or your loved one's life? How do you tell them that? How do you tell them that? And if they already struggling and they had to cut some things to make ends meet, then how do you pay for those expenses? How do you set up college funds for those kids that's not going to have parents because of your decisions? Do you do that? Do you do that? Because it's easy to make a decision for somebody without thinking out all the repercussions of your decisions. It's easy to say go back into the schools, but you ain't thought about how this family lives outside of the school. and how whatever they don't do and the rules they don't abide by will affect those inside that building, the teacher and those other kids. You don't think about that. You don't think about that. And then the shot, you don't have enough of the shot. You don't. And neither have you all thought about the underlying conditions of others. You don't think about none of that. It's all about getting stuff up and running because it's all about the money. It's not about the value of the life. It's about the money. And this is probably one of the things that God is trying to tell us. It's the value of life. Because if you value the life, the money will come. But we don't value life. We don't. These executives make dumb decisions. There's a lot of people that's been forced back into the office because they don't have a choice. But yet and still, the executives they're forcing back in the office, they sit in their asses at home with their families. They sit at home with their families. And you're not going to have no sympathy, no condolences, no concern for nobody. But you're going to make sure that yours is protected because it's yours. But if those butts that sits in the seat don't do their job, your company can't function. And when you get that mentality in your head, you'll be so much better. And I don't know what the problem is with some of these companies don't work employees to work from home. As you've seen, a lot of employees work better when they work from home. It's a more comfortable, relaxed environment. Now, I don't say if you want to go in the office a couple of days, then that's fine. That's fine. But if it's going to work for you and your company, what's the purpose of going back into the office? You all want to micromanage? What is the real reason? Help me to understand. Because the company I used to work for, they was like, no, you can't work from home. But it was certain managers who had privilege to work from home, and now they're forced to let everybody work from home. It's a money saver. It's a money saver. But you all don't look at it that way. You just don't. And that's the sad part. I already know that you track. You can track, even though you act like you can't. You can check out their IP address and see if they're working, if they're not working. Come on, let's be realistic here. Let's be truthful. Let's be honest. And stop doing the okie doke like you don't know what I'm talking about. But again, you elected officials, you make these decisions about what you want to push to do. And then you leave the parent holding the bag for your dumb decision of pushing something, and then it backfires and it don't go the way that you think it should go, and something seriously end up happening to a child or a teacher. I saw last week, 2 teachers died. 2 from COVID-19. And it's something you should think about, because those families that's coming in and you don't know what they do on the outside of those walls. You don't know who they're in contact with. You don't know if they're following the CDC rules whatsoever. You don't know that. And so right now, when you bring these families back in, potentially you're playing Russian roulette with these kids and the teachers' lives. And for those kids who have underlying issues, you're really playing Russian roulette with their lives. And I don't think you're smart people that sit in these rooms and make these decisions, you think about that. You don't think about that. Everybody's body is different, and everybody's body react differently to certain situations and things. And this is some of the things that you all need to expand your brains and think outside the box. You don't think about that. You don't. And how many people potentially could you cause to be infected because you want to push somebody to go back up in the school building? A school building that y'all half don't clean that well, no way. And then you got to know these young kids, they don't know about social distance. All they care about is being around each other. They're not going to think about hugging. You're going to talk. They're going to sneeze. They're going to cough and all this other stuff. The bottom line, some of us been nasty all the time. We've been sneezing openly. We've been coughing openly and wiping our hands and rubbing on stuff and not washing our hands. We come out the bathroom. But right now, it's a heightened awareness. It's a heightened awareness. And these are some things that you need to think about before you all sit in these offices and make these decisions. That's all I'm saying. Are you going to be willing to hold the bag and be accountable and step in and help when things don't go the way that you think they should and the numbers start to go up because you didn't think about how those families was socializing with others outside of the school walls? All right? Think about it. It's another episode of Reality Is Where Words Do Come to Life. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave your comment. Like this video. Let me know what you think. Talk to you soon.